Hello and welcome to the first review of Birdverse Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about the new TV show on Netflix, Jurassic World, Camp Cretaceous. I'm really excited to talk to you about this one just because I love Jurassic Park. As you can tell, it's got its own shelf in the media background. I got all movie posters. I got all the books and everything. I love Jurassic Park. It's probably one of my favorite series. It's my favorite movie, and it's my favorite book. Dinosaurs are cool. Chris Pratt's awesome. Jeff Goldblum's awesome. It's hard not to see why you would love Jurassic Park. But this new series is actually takes place in the Jurassic World series, so it takes place right before everything that goes down in Jurassic World, before the Indominus Rex escapes, before they evacuate the island. So this is back when everything is all nice and safe, and they actually have a camp that goes on. This camp is like supposed to be like a summer camp for kids to be able to experience like dinosaurs and get to do all these cool things and get a behind the scenes look at Jurassic World. Sounds awesome. Sign me up. Even though we all know that eventually the park is compromised, I don't even care. I'll still go. But so it takes place over 8 episodes. Spoilers for the show if you haven't seen it already. But about halfway through the series, we hit exactly into Jurassic World. So the Indominus escapes, so the kids tango with the Indominus. We get to see them trying to escape the island while not having any supervision at all, because 15, 16-year-olds, they're probably cool to walk around this place without getting in any kind of trouble. It's just monsters that can eat them. Who cares, right? Like, that's pretty much must be the mindset of these camp counselors. But it just premiered on Friday, so that was September 18th, 2020, and it has a pretty diverse cast. I was actually really impressed by the cast. It's got Darius Bowman, and he's a camper who loves dinosaurs. He knows everything about them. He has a really beautiful backstory of his father passing away from an illness, and their dream was always to go to Jurassic World, and he actually wins his VR game using some nice little tiebacks or nice little callbacks to Jurassic Park 3. He plays the VR game, and you have to get through, and you have to escape from all the different dinosaurs to be able to get to this camp. And he does win, and he wins using the little resonating chamber from the Velociraptors. Then he calls the Velociraptors to attack the T-Rex. So kind of like Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic Park 1, calling back to the Velociraptors killing, or the T-Rex attacking the Velociraptors at the end of Jurassic Park and saving their lives, and a call back to Jurassic Park 3 when Alan Grant would always, blow the little resonating chamber to try to communicate with the raptors, which that was awesome in itself. I kind of wish there was a VR game like that, but he wins that, and that's how he comes to Camp Cretaceous. You have Ben Pincus, who's, the sensitive boy. He's the one that's always really worried about germs and everything. He's kind of a kind-hearted boy. You get to see him, and just really not sure why he went to this camp, because he doesn't really like movement and dinosaurs and things like that, except for Bumpy, which is this delightful asymmetrical horned ankylosaurus that's born. Apparently, when they said that it was rapid growth and aging, they were right, because he went from being a newly hatched ankylosaurus in episode 2 to being just like a size of a toddler by the time episode 4 rolled around, episode 4 or 5. So I guess that's how that works. I don't know. And then you got Yaz, who she's like an Olympic level athlete, but doesn't have a good time making friends. Not as much development there as I would like. I'd like to see more from her, seeing what exactly her deal is, other than just being stronger, faster, and better than everybody else. Then there's Brooklyn, and she was a camper who her parents supply all the beef for Jurassic World, which was really interesting. Turns out she's got a dark reason for being there. She's spying and trying to take samples and everything from the dinosaurs, because those damn companies always trying to do everything they can to get ahead, because Engine always has competitors, and these competitors always gotta make dinosaurs, and they always send the most unlikely people to try to get their samples, like Nedry and now this Brooklyn girl. You got Kenji, who's a VIP, and he's got the I'm a rich boy, but I don't really have anybody in my life. My dad doesn't talk to me, that kind of stuff. So you get to see him and Darius grow together. You kind of get to see behind the whole rich boy facade, really. And then you got Sammy. Sammy was a oh, sorry, my bad. Sammy is the one that parents supply the beef, and then is Brooklyn is the one that surprisingly is an influencer, and she's always like she has like her like group of people and that follow her vlog on social media. So she has like a phone. I wasn't really expecting the show to really tackle like the effect being someone who's constantly in the public eye through like social media like that, but that's what we got, and it was really interesting seeing how she kind of like you see the struggles that she has while she's like putting on this facade of like, yeah, like life is awesome, like I get to do all these cool things, and then you get to see like all these trolls like talk really bad about her and how she made Jurassic World boring, which is impossible. And it's a surprisingly like emotional journey watching her like deal with this. We don't really get to see like anything come of that really, other than the fact that now her phone's broken, so we see her like adjusting to the world without having that barrier between them, which is, I mean, that's gonna be pretty cool. I just kind of wish that we had seen kind of her be like, you know what, like I don't care about these people anymore, like, you know, more personal growth than that. You know, there's always time, but taking away that phone kind of leaves that opportunity. And then there's two camp counselors, Roxy and Dave. They are the worst camp counselors ever. Maybe second to the camp counselors that were having sex when Jason died in Friday the 13th. They are constantly leaving campers unattended. They just let them go out willy-nilly. They were like, a punishment was that they had to clean this paddock, left them alone. Even though the night before they had gotten into trouble going where they weren't supposed to. We were like, yeah, you know what, you go ahead. On the day the Indominus escapes, they have to go and talk to Bryce Dallas Howard's character, and so they're gone for the entire time, trying to play catch-up to these kids. And they're just the worst camp counselors ever. And they end up leaving the kids behind, because at the end, the kids are still on the island. So season 2 is going to be them, I guess, just trying to wait and hope for the best that someone's going to come and save them, because they don't get off, which is really was a real bummer. I know that they're trying to set up like future series, but like it was really upsetting because they went through so much, so many things that would have easily gotten them killed if this wasn't a TV show. Because you got things like the Carnotaurus that was always following them, that they eventually defeated, which was awesome. Getting to the monorail, having to deal with all the pterosaurs and all the other flying dinosaurs. Like, I mean, as far as they know, Ben died, and because he fell from the monorail. Also, all these kids fall off a monorail, and there's just no way that they would have had no damage falling from that monorail. So I say that is BS. They survived the Indominus Rex because the Indominus keeps finding them every now and then. It's kind of ridiculous. These kids are definitely getting into situations where they should die and they don't because it's a TV show. And I know that you're trying to like go towards kids, but like at the same time, let's make it believable. Like, as far as the tone for the series goes, they do a nice balance of keeping it light and, you know, whimsical, like you get from Jurassic Park, seeing those dinosaurs, you know, seeing them for the first time. They really do a good job capturing that essence while also maintaining the ferocity of these beasts. When they go to the Velociraptor paddock and you see them get into a situation where they pretty much would die if it wasn't a TV show, it's pretty scary. Like the Carnotaurus, like they really seemed like they weren't going to beat it for most of the time. The Indominus was scary. Like they found like the body of the ankylosaur that it ate back in, you know, Jurassic World. So they were able to keep that darkness about, which I think was really impressive because this series kind of appeals to all the audiences because, you know, me, a 26-year-old male, I was like, yeah, like this might be a little too kiddie, but I mean, at times it did get, but like it still kept me keyed in. Like kids can watch it, like, okay, maybe like some of it gets a little intense, but like they could still enjoy it. Teens will enjoy it. Like it's kind of hits like all those buckets, which is what Jurassic Park is big for. So I loved seeing that. Their journey was really cool. You got to see a lot of influences, things like interwoven between the Jurassic World movies. So you get to see like the Indominus being attacked by Mr. Masrani on the helicopter, and that kind of like leads into all the birds escaping. You get to see, like you get to deal with like the Mosasaurus before that whole thing. It's really cool. You just get to see like a lot of really cool stuff, kind of interwoven. You're like, oh hey, like when the gyrosphere showed up again, and it was the same one, and like they were like the Jimmy Fallon tutorial. Like all these like little Easter eggs like connected to Jurassic World, I think was really well done. Especially because like it's not supposed to take place in Jurassic World and doesn't really have any weight for that, but it also still gets to like you could still be like, okay, this is definitely Jurassic World. It's kind of like Agents of Shield, but I almost want to say done better, which I thought was really awesome. The dinosaurs look good. I will say the animation was a little hokey. I wasn't really a big fan of it. Some of the stuff looked weightless, which you don't really want to see. So maybe if we get a second season, we'll get some better animation. That would probably be like my biggest grievance against it. Is it just could have been better. Like it wasn't bad, but like let's have a certain standard for, you know, getting animation, and especially with like Netflix money. And so I kind of wish I could have seen a little bit better animation from that. I mean, other than that, I don't really think that there are that many flaws. Like I said, some of the relationship stuff could have been better. But they did a pretty good job with his characterization and really like giving them like his emotional backstories for the most part in those moments. Getting to see like Darius crumble because he's like always coming up with new ideas, but like at the end of the day, like those ideas weren't enough, and like he felt trapped, and like they were all like, "No, we're here for you." Like you get to really feel like these kids are really bonded, even though they've gone through some stuff, they've gone through some betrayals, they've gone through some losses, and yet you feel like at the core, like they all get along. They even talk about how they're gonna be best friends forever, and they're like I feel like it was kind of cool because like after this, there was always that expectation that they're BFFs, but in reality, life doesn't always work like that. And so they actually called that out, and they're like, well, like yeah, we're friends right now, we're trying to get through the situation, but I don't think we'll be friends forever, even though we're united by this terrible event. And I feel like that was a really nice commentary on just how it is with TV shows and movies. Kind of my favorite thing is like seeing a movie later on, or like The Karate Kid, where you're like, okay, like yeah, Billy Zapka's character Johnny, he may have lost that one game, but like his life's probably good now, and like his life is not good. Seeing like those like time skips where you get to see like the outcome of the events, like seeing like it's not always just rainbows and unicorns, it is something difficult. And I just felt like it was pretty self-aware for me to say that, especially because like for all intents and purposes, you would think that these kids are bonded because A, they went through trauma together, and B, they've all just had their backs and they've been through this experience, and like it just really unites them, and they've all broken through their own personal boundaries, both in relationships and just personal like limits. And so you would think that would be enough, but they're like, no, like it's not. Like we're just teenagers, and teenagers do this, and teenagers fall out. And do I think at the end of the series they'll be friends for life? Possibly, because it's hard to come out of that and if you're still alive and not be friends with people who went through that, because we also can understand that. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, no, Jurassic World, Camp Cretaceous. If you're a big fan of dinosaurs, definitely watch it. If you're a big fan of the Jurassic series, definitely go and watch it. If you're just a fan of like animated kid shows, I mean, I don't see why not. Like I would probably, let's see, out of a 10, I would give it a 7.5. It wasn't amazing. It had a few things that held it back, but it did a really serviceable job of getting you into this world again, carving out its own path, carving out its own niche, without taking away from the rest of the movies. And it didn't really create plot holes, which makes it all nice. I'm excited to see a season 2. I'll definitely watch a season 2. I hope these kids get off the island before Fallen Kingdom, because we all know how that happens, and hopefully we're not now thinking that these kids are just going to die on that island. So I'd be really interested. I would really be interested if they played up. If I was thinking about what a sequel would have, I would really think that they'd play up the genetic company, because if it were me and I heard that Jurassic World was evacuated, I would send all my helicopters over there to get DNA. That is the perfect time. You got to get in there before the police and the boats show up and stuff. So I want to see maybe that genetic company that Sammy was working for will show up. Maybe I'd love to see some more dinosaurs. Maybe we find out more. Let's pencil in, all these holes that we have between Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom of, the Indominus, the Indoraptor. Let's connect those dots. Let's kind of find out a little bit more about what exactly was going on in Jurassic World beyond what we saw. They're going to be on that island anyway, right? So why not? I'd like to see it maybe, now that we're on the island, maybe, I'd still like to keep it whimsical. I just don't know if they'll be able to. but maybe a little bit darker. Maybe we get to kind of see a little bit more of the uglier side of things, what they have to do to survive. Uh, but I'm definitely down. I'm down for it. So I definitely think you should go check it out if you haven't already. Like I said, I'd give this one probably 7.5 out of 10. And I hope you enjoyed this review on Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. Look forward to more reviews from Birchverse Reviews.